Body. So I'm going to spend a couple minutes talking about something that's very new for our company, and it's something that a lot of people have interest in, and there's debate as well. So it's all good because we're very excited about it. But for the last 150 years, most builders of steel string acoustic guitars have used some sort of X-braced pattern to build guitars. So this X brace on a traditional guitar goes like this, okay, on the inside. It's glued to the back of the top. And this is a very good design. It's been used on thousands, millions of guitars that have been built with an X brace, and it's a proven, strong, good design. But Taylor Guitars has always had the philosophy of trying to improve guitars. We're not a builder who's we're not a legacy company. We're always trying to make things better and change. Bob Taylor, our founder, still works every day. He loves his job. He doesn't have to work anymore, but he still works hard. And his saying is that tomorrow we're going to build our best guitar. And then when tomorrow comes, he says, tomorrow we're going to make our best guitar. So he's always thinking about ways that he can improve the design and also use the resources as wisely as possible. So last year we made a big change, and we're now building guitars with what we call V-class bracing. The way that you can, when you're at a store, the way that you can tell if it's a V-class guitar is you look at the color of the nut. If the nut is black, it's a V-class guitar. We could spend a lot of time talking about this, but I want to give you just a little bit of an idea of why we made this change. So this type of design allows the top of the guitar to vibrate in a completely different way than a guitar that's braced like this. What do you call it in Korea when kids are on a playground and they have a long piece of wood, and one person sits on one end and the other person...
Seesaw.
You saw?
Same. Yeah, same.
Okay, seesaw. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like the way that this top moves. There's two halves that make up the sound of this guitar. Yeah. So instead of having 4 areas to vibrate and compete for sound, you've got 2. So intonation, I mean in-tuneness within itself. Chord to chord to chord to chord to chord. Really good in-tuneness. So I'm going to just talk a little bit about V-class using this koa. So the first thing that we talk about is I just want to play I'm just going to play one single note, and I want you to listen to how long this note will sustain on a V-class. It's like having a piano with a sustain pedal. And this is because of the bracing. Because it allows, there's less competition for the area of the top. It's just 2 parts that are working together. And it allows the guitar to we use the word bloom. Like a flower blooms slowly, like the sound changes. Again, like a piano. Yeah. If you play a big chord on a grand piano, over time, the sound twists and it changes, and you hear different overtones come in. So the bloom of the guitar is really nice on these. So listen, I'm going to play a couple chords and listen to what happens to the sound 3 or 4 seconds after I strike the chord. You hear that note that comes in over time?
지금 그 뒤에서 이 소리가 들리시나요?
Listen. That overtone becomes present after like 2 seconds. So it's really fun to play chords that might not usually play, obviously. The sound really changes over time, it's amazing. And probably though, as a guitar player, the intonation is what I really appreciate about this guitar. What I'm going to talk about next, when you're just beginning guitar, when you're just learning, you don't know what I'm going to talk about right now. But as your ear gets better, and as you get to be a better player, you say, oh yeah, I've experienced that. So you put your guitar tuner on, right? Right? Tuner looks good. Tuner looks good. E chord sounds great. The A chord, the C sharp, the third of the chord is a little sharp if you base the tuning on the open tuner or the E chord. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And then if you tune it by ear so that the C sharp sounds good, the E on the E chord sounds flat. It's not the end of the world. We've made a lot of music with it already. It's not a big problem. But on this guitar, listen, here's the E chord. There's no rubbing, right? I have a lot of nice guitars over the years. I've been buying guitars, but I don't have anything that plays that in tune in my collection. So check it out. That voicing is never in tune on most guitars. The fifth is always flat.
지금 저 코드는 지금 거의 대부분의 기타에서 약간의 플랫하는 소리들이 나는데 일러에서는 V클래스는 그런 모습 보여주고 있지 않지.
Even the high notes,
고음도 역시 마찬가지.
so much sustain. I'm barely playing too. It kind of allows you now to play chords that you couldn't use in the past because they wouldn't sound in tune. But you can play voicings with fretted notes against open strings. Like a mandolin chord voicing. Because of the bracing, a lot of problems with capo goes away. Things that this really helps with is when you're playing with like a digital keyboard, you know, that is exactly in tune. The keyboard is exactly in tune, right? But if you have to kind of retune your guitar depending on the key you're in, it makes it a little bit easier to play with other instruments, native instruments like inside a computer too. So this is one of my favorite guitars we make right now. This is a Builder's Edition guitar, and it has special features like the edges. Check it out, the edges are rounded. they're not 90 degrees. They're rolled off.
네, 일단 이제 저희가 굉장히 또 좋아하는 빌더레이션이라는 모델 중에 하나고요. 빌더레이션의 여러 가지 특징 중에
And
하나는
the fingerboard is also
기타의
rolled off too.
엣지 부분, 쌍판과 측판에 만나는 부분의 핑거보드 부분이
It has this really
라운드 처리가 되어 있어요.
really cool beveled edge, right? So it
베벨도
feels
들어가
comfortable.
있고요.
A lot of people play this guitar and they think it's smaller than a GA, but it feels smaller because of the bevel and because of the rounded edges. It's the same size though, same body size. Also, the Builder's Edition guitar has a completely new cutaway too. Cool. Okay, so this is why it's always important for you to pick your own guitar. Don't let somebody else tell you what guitar you should buy. What we're gonna do after I finish tonight is we want to encourage you to play these guitars also. Put them in your hands and see if they affect you the same way that they affected you while you were sitting down.
주문해가지고 우리가 주문하는